Right, it's time to write next actions again. Possible next actions for my someday maybe lists, projects. And this time I'm going to take out the insert because I don't want to leaf back and forth. So I have done all of these tabs and I have come to food, my food someday maybe list. And much of this is just like permanent information, food we like, ideas for buffets and stuff. But on this side I have 3 ideas that we might do, you know, someday maybe stuff. So I'm going to make next actions for those. If you haven't watched the other videos about this, I am creating next actions for everything in my someday maybe insert, because I'd like to move forward on everything in tiny, tiny steps. So the first one is we might buy herring from this person. So I think the first step towards actually doing this is to Google. I have a Googling context. Her, well, it's not a shop. She travels around and sells this at specific times. It's almost like a market, but not quite. Like a farmer's market, perhaps. So Google times for this farmer's market. And whether she will be there, prices, and just how do you buy? Where do you place orders? So gather information. A lot of this, actually, I just wanted to say that when you make next actions, a lot, at least in my experience, a lot of it has to do with gathering information from people or from the internet or from, I don't know, like businesses or whatever. A lot of it has to do with thinking, like brainstorming, listing things, trying to remember, writing lists of things. And there's also like locating things, finding things that you've forgotten where you put, or just gathering stuff from their hiding places around the house. Checking things like checking whether something works, what size clothes you have, things like that. Just checking stuff in the material world. And also getting inspiration, so like watching YouTube videos or reading blogs or whatever about a subject, like cleaning, for example. You want to get inspiration for cleaning. That may be a first step, a next action towards actually doing the cleaning yourself. Yes, you can fall down a rabbit hole and never do anything, just watch YouTube videos. But to a point, getting inspiration is good. So a lot of these next actions fall into one of those categories. Another thing to do with food that we'd like to do is to order chocolate from this person who sells them online, and I would like to check out her website and again see her prices and how she sells them. Just to know, you know, knowledge is power. Another bigger thing is that we'd like to eat more plant-based. And my husband cooks and has, you know, a meat background. So a lot of the things he does well, you know, is good at cooking, involves meat. So we're planning to make a list of things we like, foods we like, dishes we like, And then how, what is the meat component in this dish, and can it be replaced or, just adapted to become less meat based. So for example, we have started this list. So just this grilling sausages, that's not like cooking for real, but we like herring. So that can be an alternative. For example, when you grill sausages over an open fire at the cabin, it's at night and it's cozy, it's quite as cozy to fry some herrings. So that's sort of you can replace, sausage with herring. And also like fish fingers, you can put them in tortilla breads or something to sort of resemble grilled sausages, but it's something else and it's quite as good. And you get some variation as well. It's not always the same thing. Also, we had an idea about lasagna that you could just, because my husband cooks a lot based on leftovers. He's very good at that. So leftovers don't have to be meat. There are also vegetable leftovers, and you can just mix them all together and put in a lasagna. So we need more ideas like that. So maybe just bring it up with my husband. Just start talking about it during dinner and, brainstorm. So brainstorming with my husband. And we already, as I said, we already have a list of things we like. So we can start with that list and try to think of things like vegetarian things to replace them with. And also we have like a calendar where we write down everything we eat. So we could also have a look in that one for ideas, to see what do we like and what can we replace it with. So food calendar. Okay, and that's it for food. Next spread is beverages, and there's nothing really that we need to do here, so I'm just gonna skip that one. It's just lists of things we like. Car spread. Well, I have thought for a long time, in the summer, when you're wearing like tank tops or something and you bear a lot of skin, the seatbelt can really feel rough. So I guess I'm thinking, or there's one item on this list to cover the seatbelt up somehow. So I'm thinking I need to find something. Find list. Soft fabric for the seatbelt, like felt or something. Soft. And then the next step, of course, will be to take it to the car. The next one is actually already done. There are a few problems with the car and other things to do with the car, so I guess talk to my husband, because I don't have a driver's license, so he's the one that does all the car stuff. It's starting to sound like he does everything. He shops for food, he cooks, he does the flowers, he does the car. I promise I do some things, like I wash clothes. I mean, I do laundry is the correct term. Never mind, you don't care. So just remind him about the things that need to get fixed. And while I'm here on this spread, I've started doing these things. So you can see that I've crossed out the first next action here, which was to ask him if we need to buy more soil for planting flowers. And it turns out we did. So I just put it on the project spread for shopping. And also I asked about these two things, where things are, and I put the information here. So just put an arrow from the question to his answer, which I'm kind of liking. So maybe I'll keep this page for information. So yeah, so it'll sit there for the time being. Next item on the car list is to learn to drive. So, you know, just learning the very basics of driving. And what's the first step? I guess it is, because it's my husband who will have to teach me. So I'll make a new list for talking to my husband, because this one is done, or the page is finished. So decide a date, preferably before the snow, when we can go somewhere and just get started. And it needs to be on a weekend, and it's when we're free, so we'll have to check the calendar, and we need to check the weather forecast so it's not, you know, awful. Okay, that's it for the car spread. Let's move on to cleaning. And here I've been inspired by Fly Lady, who has this system for cleaning that I tried for a while, and it doesn't fit me because it's too rigid. I need a lot of freedom of choice. But the areas and the tasks that she lists in her system were very good as a sort of to base my own system on. So this list are the things that need to get done at some point, so that I don't forget a room or part of a room, like for example windows or doorknobs or things like that. But they're actually, so this is just thing I pick and choose from this list when I make my cleaning tracker for the month. So I don't do everything every month, but I check this list to see what I want to do. But there's one thing that I don't know how to do. There is a problem, it seems, with the washing machine, and I don't know. I have tried to clean the filter, but I can't find it, basically. So I have to Google our washing machine, you know, the brand, to see how you clean the filter. Let's see, is there anything else of that nature? I mean, most of it is just for the tracker. Okay, so that's the only thing from this spread, I guess. So we go on to interior decoration / fixing things, like mending things or replacing things. So there's a few things here that I need to get going on. So the first one, oh my lord, this will take a while. I'm just going to drink tea to gather my strength. Okay, first item is to mend the bookshelves in the attic. So they're disintegrating and I need to do something about that. So first thing I think is to check. This is my checklist. Check the damage, you know, how bad is it? What's the problem? What do I need? Which ones have a problem? What needs to be done? And what tools do I need? So that's the first step. Next one is to mend a couple of chairs. So I think, well, I need glue. They need to be glued, but I think we need to do it together because I'm not quite sure how to do it properly. So one thing is to actually to fetch the glue from my craft room, because I use a lot of wood glue. So the heading here will be fetch or move, which means, you know, moving things from one room to another. So the first step is to bring the wood glue to the dining room. And to discuss how to actually glue the chairs with my husband. Maybe just explain to myself why I need to bring the glue. Chairs. Okay, next one is to find a lamp for my office windows. So the find list, I think we have window lamps that we're not using, but I need to check for a lamp that fits the room and works, you know, and is small enough. Okay, next one is to change the, what's it called? You know, on a toilet, sorry, now I'm talking about toilets. The toilet seat. We have a toilet seat made of wood that we might want to use. So I guess find it is a good start. I think it's in the attic. So I'll put that in then parentheses. Is it in the attic? I'm not sure I want to use it, so maybe discuss with my husband if we actually want to do this. Is it worth it, you know? Because it gets higher and, you know, there are trade-offs. And where? Which toilet do we put it on? what is this in English? You know, the little machine that warns you when you have a fire, like a smoke detector. We need to put them up. So first step is to find them, I guess, and just gather all of them together so we know how many we have. We have bought a lot of smoke detectors and they're in a box somewhere. We have some put up, but not all of them, and you know, they're not doing their thing while they're tucked away somewhere. So gather them all together and put them where? Maybe in the hallway. So from there we can decide where to put them. So discuss with hubby where to put them. You know, where don't we have coverage, so to speak. Next thing on the list is very hard. It's this cupboard door that doesn't really fit. I don't know, what is the first step? To find new hinges, to measure it perhaps? I think I need to talk to him. What is the first step? So I'm going to ask him, do we need to measure? Do we need to buy anything? Or what? You know, I think he knows better than me, but I'm not sure he is absolutely certain. The next one is there's this clock we have, which is kind of old. So we'd like just to find out where it came from. So I'm gonna find that information and print. Oh, print, that's another context, because there is a special room where we have our printer. So it's not like Googling, it's not like everything else you do with a computer. So it needs its own list. And some of these are actually really quick. I mean, now that I look at it, some of these someday maybe items are a next action in themselves. It's just that I put off doing it forever, which means I've had to rewrite these lists so many times, but that's another story. Henry IV coat of arms in the pub. So we are going to decorate a room in our house like a pub, and I love Henry IV's coat of arms because I loved Henry IV parts 1 and 2 when I was 15 years old and saw them in Stratford. Memories. So what do I do? Do I buy it somewhere? Do I paint it on something? So maybe the first step is actually to brainstorm and just decide how I want to represent this coat of arms. Do I have the skills and the patience to actually paint it myself, or do I try to find it? And if I do paint it, on what? Directly on the wall, or do I make like a painting with a frame? Do I use acrylics? Do I want a frame? Or as I said, directly on the wall? And where in the pub room? then there's this other room where we'd like to put up a moose, what's it called? Their horns, it's not called horns, crown. And a couple of candlesticks that look kind of old. It's supposed to be rustic. So I guess I have to find those candlesticks that we want. They're in a box somewhere. And we also need to decide which moose horn, or whatever it's called, we will use, because we have several. Family with hunters, you know, we don't hunt, but and this is something else I've put off for years. I need to learn how to drill in cement, because this is in the basement and the walls are cement, and I can use a drill, but I haven't tried it on cement, and it's different. You run a risk of breaking the drill bits. So I think the first time I do this, I need supervision. So again, so many of these next actions to do with my husband have to do with deciding a date and time for something. So decide a time when he can supervise me, and perhaps also I can Google how to do it, like YouTube videos about drilling in tutorials. So I can watch them before this, before trying it, before involving my husband. Next item is there's a lot of mending here. Mend a few painting frames. So again, I need to use wood glue, but I guess the first step would be to gather the paintings that need mending. And I think the upstairs kitchen is a good place to gather them. And then perhaps discuss with my husband whether we need to do this together, because, you know, a painting frame that is broken, perhaps you need to be two people when you glue it. So so can we do this, and when? Put up paintings in a specific room. Again, we need to do this together. So we need to decide when to do it. And perhaps we need to brainstorm together where to put them, because it's a big room and there are lots of paintings we need to hang, and we need to discuss where do we put them, you know, in what order, how do they look good. And also I need to move the paintings in question to to the room. And I think that's it for now, because I need to have lunch. I have put my lunch in the microwave, but I haven't eaten yet, and I need to do that before I need to start working again, go back to my actual, you know, job. But I have moved forward on my someday maybe projects, and a lot of this is really actionable. I mean, when you start looking at those big nebulous projects you've got on the back burner, suddenly you see that, you know, I can do this, I can do this. There are small steps that you can take to move forward on them. So, you know, if that's your takeaway from these videos, I am happy.